Today we have one of those stories that seems to get a new update every day that passes, so it's kind of tough to figure out when is the right time to cover this story because eventually you would just keep doing coverage over and over again of the same story. The new update comes out, but this is so serious it's finally worth talking about where we've gotten enough information to give us a pretty clear picture of what's happened and what could be coming in the future. The story is that on February 3rd in East Palestine, which is a very small town of just about 5,000 people in eastern Ohio near the Pennsylvania border. This train from the company Norfolk Southern derailed and spilled out everywhere. There were these toxic chemicals that were in the trains, and as it fell down off the rail. These chemicals went everywhere. They went up in the air and into the ground, and they were unable to be contained. Just a complete environmental disaster, as these chemicals were never at all supposed to be in the air in public at the capacity they are now, instead being used for other industrial purposes, but now the local people have to deal with the consequences of all of this toxic material being released into their environment, which is imposing a lot of uncertainty, questions, risks, and panic, as it should be, as we usually with these things, and what we're seeing now is that it just takes a very long time for environmental agencies and government to figure out what the damage is and what actions should come next. Originally, the town was evacuated, and now they've said that it's okay to return, but a lot of people are skeptical that it's okay to return, seeing as this happened just 2 weeks ago, and it's unclear what the overall effects were, and just the sheer amount of material that got out poses just a giant threat just because of how big it was. So we have emergency crews that are continuing to work on the cleanup, but there's been a lot of damage already done to the air, to the water, to the ground, and residents of this town called East Palestine are still unable to use water from faucets, and they have to resort to bottled water, reminding some of the Flint, Michigan water crisis that's been going on for years and years and years now, where they were letting the water pipes and residents have to use bottled water, and that still has not been fully resolved. But back to this story. So we know that it was 5 tanker cars of vinyl chlorine that is the main instigator of the spill, and the main thing that is causing the problems. The governor, Mike DeWine in Ohio, Republican, seen as a moderate Republican, has declared that DH, HHS will set up a clinic near the area so anyone that lives there can go and get some help, whatever they need, whether it's respiratory things or perhaps they ingested, breathed in, or ingested some other way these toxic chemicals, and they will be able to seek medical attention, even those who do not have the necessary health insurance that is usually required. They don't qualify for FEMA disaster assistance, but the federal government is still doing a little bit to help out. Joe Biden and the administration are sending out their own team of doctors and physicians who are able to uh, assess the physical and behavioral elements of the situation and then figure out how to proceed. But it's not really a place that many people want to go to just because it's unclear whether the error is still poses an active threat to citizens, and there are questions about both the short-term and the long-term effects of what breathing in this toxic air could do to people. And on the corporate side, so the company is Norfolk Southern. They were going to do a town hall 2 days ago, but uh, pulled out because they thought they could be threatened physically by some people who are growingly frustrated at them, their lack of response, and whatever mechanical failures caused this thing to happen. We believe that it was some type of some issue with an axle on one of the cars, and that was the catalyst that caused the whole thing to go berserk and fall off the tracks. Risks to humans. The EPA says that exposure to this chemical can cause harm to the central nervous system, a key part of the human body. Also can cause liver damage, burning. And then you can see what these other gases do. The EPA is currently saying that it has not detected any quote levels of concern from of these substances released during or after crash, although they're still looking at it, and perhaps in 3 days we'll have a different conclusion, and the wildlife impact could be devastating. Um, Saying they estimate Ohio Department of Natural Resources estimating 3,500 fish have died um after the crash because of these materials 7.5 miles upstream. Then also other species could be endangered by this too. And then just the legal question of this, can Norfolk Southern be held liable for their derailment and the risk that it poses to the people? EPA sending them a general notice of potential liability, which basically just says that they might be responsible and might face consequences for this. And there's been a lot of lawsuits going on, at least four class action lawsuits have been already filed against the company. So it's just complete and total chaos going on for the past 2 weeks after this derailment in Ohio. Very dangerous, and alarm bells going off for the safety of the area, the safety of the people, and the broader effects that it could have on the regions, both for the environment and the air, and potential future settlements that want to stay there or want to move there. Um, it's being analyzed as perhaps the biggest environmental disaster in recent American history by some groups, and maybe in a month we'll be able to better evaluate those claims.